If you want to travel in 2025,
Hey you, come closer. Closer. Oh, okay, that's close enough.
I put up a video recently on my page. The video was about how much I spent traveling in 2024, and there were some questions about how do I travel, how do you plan your trip, and all of that. So I got you this 2025. This is sort of like a detailed step-by-step guide on how to start traveling in 2025. I'm a solo traveler. I travel by myself most of the time. We're going to start with the first thing. Where do you want to go to? It majorly depends on what catches your interest. What kind of traveler are you? I would say start small. So say for instance, you're based in Nigeria, you're based somewhere in Africa, look for an African country that is easy for you to go to, that's not so far away from home, because it's most likely your first visa application. You don't want to start applying to the UK or the US or Canada. It might be long, right? If you live in the UAE, look for somewhere in the Middle East. There's Qatar, there is Georgia, there's Oman, there's Saudi. There are places in Europe as well that are a bit close to you. So decide on the location, right? If traveling is your thing, I'm assuming that you've definitely saved one or two travel locations that you fancy that you want to go to, right? So first thing is decide on where you want to go to, and then the second thing is budget. So you need to have an idea of how much is going to cost you to go to this place. Go on Google and research. Just do like a quick, just to get an idea of how much it will cost you to fly to the place, how much is it going to cost you for tickets, how much is it going to cost you for accommodation, and all of that. So get an idea of budget, and then you start to save. Depending on how your finances are, you can either you have the money and you're ready to go, or you save up for this, right? But at least you have an idea of where you're going to and how much it's going to cost you. Then the third thing is visa, right? So like I said earlier, I think it's just easier for you to just find a place that is very close to you, that even if you're going to need a visa, it won't be too hard for you to get a visa. So say for instance, you live in Nigeria, you want to go to Kigali, you want to go to Kenya, you want to go to Rwanda, you can easily get an East African visa that allows you to go to Kenya, Rwanda and Uganda, right? And that visa will probably come out in it take like a week. And as a first-time traveler, it's easier for you to get those kind of visas. If you live in the UAE, depending on what kind of passport you have, or if you're a resident here, for instance, if you want to go to Qatar from the UAE, you don't even need a visa. If you're a resident in Dubai, you just apply online. If you want more information about that, you can send me a DM. I can send you the link to apply. And your visa comes out in less than, I think, 2 or 3 working days, right? So the third thing is visa. Once you've got that sorted out, then the next thing is your flight. So go on Skyscanner, go on Travel Stats, go on all of this flights booking apps, Expedia, and search for flights. So you're trying to get the best deals, to be honest. Pay attention to the fine details when you're booking your flights, right? If your first time traveling, you don't want a lot of hassle. Book a direct flight. There's a direct flight option. Your baggage allowance, the requirements for you to board the flight. Just pay attention to the fine print before you go ahead and book the flights. So fourth, we have flights sorted out, and you're about to get on your first solo trip. The next thing is accommodation. One question I definitely got was accommodation, on how do I decide on where to stay. For this one, Google Maps and Airbnb and Booking.com is my go-to. So to start with, let's use an example. I'm going to London. So first and foremost is I look for where the city center is. So city center is Oxford Street, Mayfair. That's like the city center, right? So I then go on Airbnb and I impute downtown London or city center London, depending on how it's called in the particular city they're going to. And then for all of the bookings that I get, all of the options that are coming up, also I put my budget and I put the duration of how long I'm going to stay in that place. I then go back to google.com. So say for instance, I found an apartment on Airbnb. You know that before you book, Airbnb won't give you the exact location, but they'll show you where the street is on the app, right? So I'll pick that street, I would put it on Google Maps, and I would put the downtown London or city center London, or maybe I'll even use a street in London. So I'll use Oxford Street, for instance, and I'll see the distance between the Airbnb that I'm trying to book, and Oxford Street, because that's where I know that it's the city center and where all of the activities are going to be that I want to enjoy, right? So that's basically how I do my booking. If it's too far, if it's like a long distance, I wouldn't go ahead and book it. But if it's walking distance or it's just 1 train or 2 trains, then I know that that's like an option for me. So I would bookmark it. I would add it to like a wish list of London, and then I'll check the reviews. Of course, reviews, especially on Airbnb, reviews are very, very, very important. So I'll check the reviews, and I'll do that for like a couple of more options that I see, right? So I think I've told you guys I'm an Airbnb girl. I'm an Airbnb because affordable. What's that thing called? I'm a budget traveler, not a luxury traveler yet. Very soon, by God's grace. If you're doing booking.com, same thing for booking.com. And the good thing about booking.com is it even shows you already on the app how far away it is from the city center. So you see 1 kilometer away from the city center, 0.5 kilometer away from the city center, and things like that. So you already know that that's close to where you want to be. If you're seeing like 5 kilometers away, 7 kilometers away, you don't want to do that, because what that means is you have to do like a long commute between where you're staying and all of the tourist attractions that you want to see, right? So that's how I search for my accommodation. I drill down to where I'm trying to stay based on different things, the reviews, the budget, and then I go ahead and book. Bam, we're done. So you've got your flights, you've got your accommodation, you've got your visa, you have your money, and you're ready to travel. The next thing, I think that's the 6th thing, is activities. What are you going to do when you get there? Again, this goes back to the kind of person that you are. The most important thing with traveling is research. You have to do a lot of research. Know a lot of things about where you're trying to go to. And shout out to TikTok, to be honest, guys. If you're a travel person, TikTok is your best search engine to use. Don't even bother going to Google or Instagram or anywhere else. Before, when I started traveling, like 2021, I think I still even have some bookmarks of blogs that I would read about where I was going to, activities and everything. But shout out to TikTok. Ain't nobody got time for blogs anymore. Not to say that blogs are not good, but I'm just saying that if you're trying to go on your first solo trip and you're looking for what to do, TikTok is your go-to search engine. You're going to Amsterdam, for instance, there's some popular things that you want to do. You want to go to the museum if that's your thing. You want to do a tour, so you do a tour of the boats, of the canals. So London, there's a London Eye. New York, there's Times Square, so you know that you definitely want to do Times Square. You want to do I don't know what this building is called. Basically, you want to see the Statue of Liberty. You just know that there are a lot of depending on the location, every location has like popular tourist things that you want to do. And it's your first trip. You don't want a lot of hassle. You don't want to start looking for a lot of extra things to do. Just keep it simple. That's my advice for you. Remember that this is tips and breakdown on how to go on your first holiday by yourself, your first solo travel yourself. So keep it simple. Look for the popular tourist location that is your own person, that suits your own personality. I'm not a museum person, unless the museum about history and all of that. If it's an art museum, that's not my thing. But if that's your thing, go to an art museum. So search on TikTok, go on Instagram, look for if you also have another thing that used to help me that helps me is if you have influencers that you follow and they've been to a location, you've probably seen, like, you enjoyed the activity while they were there, you enjoyed the things that they were doing. Some of them would add it to their highlights, right? So if you go on Instagram, you can just look for this influencer's highlights and just look for look at the things that they did. Screenshots, go on your notes app, write them down, identify 5 or 6 things that you want to do in that location, and that's it. So we have that sorted out. You also have to have an idea of how much it's going to cost you for each of them. Sometimes it's even best for you to book your tickets ahead of time, so it's easy for you to go and enjoy yourself. And then the last thing that we now have to do, so before I go to the last thing, still under activities, I'm a big foodie. I travel to a city to go and eat. So as I'm looking for activities to do, I'm also looking for restaurants to go to. Sometimes I don't even go for activities. I just go there to go and eat the food for the restaurant. So you also want to look for restaurants if that's your thing. You also want to look for restaurants. And when I travel, I like to do a balance between fine dining. I'm a fine dining girl. That's where my money goes to. That's actually where my money goes to be honest, if I'm being honest. If people look at my budget itinerary or my budget breakdown for travel, food is after flight and accommodation. Food. Sometimes food is even more expensive than my accommodation because, like I said, I'm a budget traveler. I stay on Airbnb. I can't afford to splurge on everything. But yeah, before I digress, I try to find a balance between fine dining and also experiencing the tradition of where I'm going to. So I will do some fine dining. I'll also do some traditional local food of where I'm going to. So not just fine dining. Street food is also my thing. If you have the stomach for it, I'm a street food girl as well, right? So you already have now, so now you're done with your activity. You know where you want to go to, you know what you want to eat, you know the things that you want to see. Now you go, the last step is itinerary. And for this, it doesn't have to be anything again. If you're a Notion girl, if you're a serious itinerary, day one, you can even go ahead and do a booklet or do a PowerPoint or do a Canva if that's your thing. That's not my thing. I don't do that. I just go on my notes app, my favorite note app on my phone, and I just do like a rough itinerary, right? Day one, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going to go to. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, like that, depending on how long I'm staying. And that's it. Your travel, that's literally everything that you need to be able to go on your first trip and have the time of your life as a solo traveler. Because you're solo traveling, you want to ensure that you're doing things, you have the activities that you would enjoy, or activities that would make your trip very, very wholesome, very, very fun for yourself. Because if you don't plan to have fun, you might just go there and just stay at home and end up not having any and end up not doing anything. If you are also not down for, I don't want to do all of this for myself, it sounds a bit long. There are loads of people that are planning activities, that are planning trips. They'll do everything for me from the beginning to the end. Of course, a bit pricier. You would save more money if you do it yourself, but that's also another option. For my first trip out of Nigeria, out of West Africa, I just joined a group trip. I'm also going to tag some of the people that I haven't been on the trips before. Some of them have been on the trip. Go Jolly, for instance, I've been on Go Jolly before. There's also Alma, Kaijego. I haven't been on any one, but I've seen the trips, and it looks like a good trip, right? So you can also just easily pay for one of those trips and join them. But if you're also trying to do a mix of do it yourself and also use someone to plan some things, you can do every other thing like accommodation, flight booking, activities, and all of that. Research yourself, and then when you get to where you're going to, look for a tour guide, or even before you get there, and just look for a tour company that would help you plan all of the activities and just take you to all of those things, and it's just easy peasy. I like to immerse myself when I travel, right? So I like to do things myself. And also when I do my itinerary, it's not very tight. It's not like I have to follow this thing. That's why I also enjoy solo traveling. I wake up myself whenever I want to. There's no, we have to wake up at 7 a.m. and be going for this. That's not me. I'm on a holiday. I came here to enjoy. None of that, please. Sometimes I wake up at 2, sometimes I wake up at 12. It depends on how I feel and how I'm feeling that day. But whenever I wake up is when I wake up. I have a bath, I look at my itinerary, what are we doing today? And we start and go for that. And a lot of times, another reason why I love solo traveling is I can be saying that, I'm going to this restaurant, and on my way, I see something that catches my fancy, and I digress. I just branch. It's only me. Nobody's going to beat me. There's nobody there's no time that I'm trying to follow. So I will just go to the restaurant, see what's going on there, or go to a tourist attraction. Anything, like it's a trip. You're trying to enjoy or trying to find out more about wherever it is you're traveling to. So don't try to box yourself too much. Give yourself a bit of leeway to enjoy things, like something that you didn't see in your research, or that's not on your itinerary might be happening, and it might just be a very nice thing about the country, about the city that you're in, maybe like a seasonal or a festival that happens once in a while, and just let go, like just join them and just have a good time. That's why you're on a holiday, right? So I hope you've been able to find this helpful. I think we're going to break this into two parts, part 1 and part 2. I hope you've been able to find it helpful. Don't forget to follow, like, and share this video. And if you have any questions, send me a DM, drop it in the comment section. I'm here to answer all of them as much as I can. I can also share, if you want, I think I have a template for itinerary. If you want, drop itinerary in the comments and I'll share it with you. Bye.